Black Clover Chapter 322, Yami Returns. This new Black Clover chapter has made many of our predictions come true. We talk about why exactly Lucifero is afraid of Asta. Is it because of the anti-magic or the demon swords? Why is Adrammelech so disrespectful to Lucifero? Who is the next Clifford devil and what will happen in the next chapters? Also, only a small percentage of the people who watch our videos are actually subscribed, so if you end up liking this video, consider subscribing. Please enjoy this video. Let's go! Yeah, there are those who say that none of our predictions ever come true and that nothing we say makes any sense. Okay, sure, whatever makes you happy, But a big thank you to all of our loyal viewers. We really love you guys. We do YouTube with so much passion just because of you guys and your support. Thank you guys so much. And to all the haters, mwah! Kisses on your foreheads, of course we love you guys too. After all, you are the biggest fans. So don't worry, we will be here for many years to come. Okay, anyways, let's talk about the new Black Clover Chapter 322. The new Black Clover Chapter, called the Black Bull's Vice Captain, starts where the last Black Clover Chapter ended, with Asta on the brink of death, slowly approaching Lucifero, but then suddenly the Black Bull's Vice Captain Nacht shows up and uses his shadow magic to assist Asta, because as we all know, that man is as good as dead. And Lucifero understands this very well. We have already said several times in the last chapter reviews that Lucifero is afraid of Asta, even if he doesn't want to admit it and even if it doesn't look like it. He has always acted like Asta is just another rat, just someone without magic, not even worth mentioning. But behind that facade, he's given a lot of hints that have made it pretty obvious that Asta scares the crap out of him. But because of Lucifero's nature, he will never show that directly. After all, he is the king of the underworld, a devil that other devils look up to, meaning they are afraid of him and his cruelty. So how would he look in front of one of the highest devils if he showed even a single sign of weakness? And not against another devil, but against a mere human without mana. First, Lucifero noticed Asta's swords, and instead of fighting Asta, he decided to investigate the sword's capabilities by testing if it could actually hurt him, and hell it did. After that, Lucifero was crying like a little and tried his best to defeat Asta as soon as possible. When Asta managed to cut Lucifero's horn, his anger clearly showed that he is extremely emotional when it comes to Asta's abilities. In Lucifero's eyes, Asta and Liebes anti-magic are the only obstacles standing in his way right now, so he needs to get rid of Asta as soon as possible. The fact that he wants Asta to die before anyone else, as we mentioned in the last chapter review, is now clearly emphasized and confirmed by Lucifero, literally saying that he has to get the brat as soon as possible. We can interpret the statement in many different ways. First of all, we can say that Lucifero is either afraid of Asta's anti-magic because he has never seen anything like it, and it is actually effective against him, or he remembers anti-magic from the past, or has heard legends about anti-magic and is therefore afraid of it. If this strange shape on his chest is actually a scar, then it could be possible that someone gave him the scar with anti-magic. It is also possible that the scar is the result of the First Clifford War and was caused by the demon swords that Asta is currently using, so that Lucifero is not really afraid of the anti-magic, but of the true potential of the demon swords that may have defeated him in the past. Maybe there's another very powerful sword hidden somewhere that Lucifero knows about, that is one of the swords Asta is already using, that maybe Licht didn't even have, and that Lucifero now wants to prevent Asta from ever finding. Maybe it is even in the Spade Kingdom right now, considering that the First Clifford War also took place in the Spade Kingdom. It is very strange why the swords are called demon swords, almost as if they were created to defeat the devils. In demonology, devils are called demons. We don't know anything about the origin of the swords, but we do know that Ril's elf recognized Charmy's dwarf mana from the past, which means that the dwarves and Licht's elf tribe were in contact 500 years ago. Dwarves are known to be able to make very powerful weapons, and we also know that Asta's swords do not belong to Licht's grimoire, but were only sealed inside it, just like Yami's katana. So we can definitely assume the possibility that the swords were made by dwarves, and thus Asta's swords will eventually be the key to how the dwarves are introduced into Black Clover. It could be that Asta is to be given a new weapon, or that Lucifero is just trying to break Asta's sword instead of killing Asta directly. A broken sword would literally be the best reason for the Dryad or the elves to pay a visit to the dwarves, so that Asta can have his sword repaired. So yes, either Lucifero Lucifero wants to get rid of the anti-magic itself or the demon swords. Maybe this even both together. Maybe he really does know both separately, or maybe just one of them. But it's clear that Lucifero is afraid. We then see Yuno and Mereoleona fight Lucifero together, and they do a really good job. Even though they are unable to hurt Lucifero, he still can't focus on Asta because of it, which is his main goal at the moment. He thinks that he needs to get rid of Yuno and Mereoleona as soon as possible, but he just can't do it because he's not strong enough in his 50% manifestation to do that as soon as possible. Now don't get me wrong, he's certainly strong enough, and I doubt that he can't defeat them. But the point is that he's extremely distracted by Asta's very existence, so he can't concentrate. What I'm saying is that the fact that he wants to get rid of Asta as soon as possible shows that the time that Asta is alive is the most important thing for Lucifero at this moment, and not Mereoleona and Yuno. He could just get rid of Yuno and Mereoleona in a long fight and then focus on Asta. But he wants to take Asta down first as soon as possible. Either because Lucifero's 50% manifestation is too weak to make sure he doesn't get surprised by Asta again and therefore sees him as a threat, or he's afraid that Asta will awaken something Lucifero remembers from the past or from legends. As I said, either anti-magic or demon sword, maybe even both at the same time. This fact forces Lucifero into the corner to show weakness for the first time in this fight. He shouts Adrammelech, just as we predicted, I guess almost a year ago, maybe a bit less. Of course, it may be obvious to some of you that it's Adrammelech, since we made the video about all the Cliffeth devils and specifically about Adrammelech. But we always have to keep in mind that Tabata doesn't only use devils from demonology such as Megicula. We have always known that Megicula is a devil not from demonology, but an original devil from Black Clover, at least when it comes to her name. Maybe Megicula is just her fake name and she's really a devil from demonology, or maybe she just replaced one of the devils from demonology because one of them died in the first Cliffeth War. The reason we know it was Adrammelech is because he had no wings, and in demonology he is depicted as a peacock. And peacocks can fold their wings so it looks like they have no wings. Moreover, those strange looking shapes on Adrammelech's body resemble the feathers of a peacock, so it clearly had to be Adrammelech. We have shown all these attributes in our thumbnail. With the reveal of Adrammelech, the big question now is who will be the next Cliffeth devil. We were able to accurately predict that there are 3 rulers of the underworld and the devils Lilith, Nama, Adrammelech and Beelzebub. So we believe we know the version Tabata uses, which I show you here. I think from now on we can firmly assume that this is the reference for the supreme devils. Based on this, the next devil can either be Megicula as an original Black Clover devil, or Megicula who lied about her true name and maybe even her appearance and is actually one of the devils of demonology. Or it may be another original Black Clover devil, or simply the next devil from demonology. If the 4th devil is from demonology, it would be Baal or Baal. There are many versions of his name. He is the lord of the first blacksmith and is a manufacturer of weapons. We have talked about him before when we explained the possibility of him having a sword that he could use against Asta, and Asta possibly taking his sword and making it his own, adding a devil sword to his sword collection. I would literally love this possibility. It would be a cool way for Asta to get a new weapon, especially if Asta gives his katana back to Yami. Whether he really gives his katana back to Yami is not predictable, both is possible. But anyway, back to the Black Clover chapter 322. Lucifero yelled at Adrammelech to get rid of Mereoleona and Yuno so he can concentrate on Asta alone. This again emphasizes Lucifero's fear and urgency to get rid of Asta as soon as possible. Anyone would think that Adrammelech would show at least some respect to the king of the underworld, but the way he reacted was completely unpredictable, even though we already described him the same way during the introduction many weeks ago. Adrammelech refused to help Lucifero because he has much more fun watching Lucifero fight than bothering to help him. Oh man, Adrammelech is going to get his whooped after this arc. If Lucifero and he survives this, Lucifero is about to pull out his leather belt and beat the living out of this emo ass. Before my partner continues with Black Clover Chapter 322, please take a moment to leave a like. With your support, we can continue this channel with more Black Clover content for you. And make sure to check yesterday's theory about Liebe and Asta's possible new power-up, the Human Union mode, with Liebe in control of this transformation. Thank you.
Adrammelech's behavior shows much of the devil hierarchy and of Adrammelech as a person. Here is a little summary of what we have said about his personality so that you can see that it perfectly matches with his character in Black Clover. As for his personality, he is literally described as an enemy of God. Not because he's as powerful as God, but because of his evilness is so great that it's even considered to be the opposite of everything that is good. He is described as more evil than Satan and Lucifero himself. He literally respects no one, which is clearly seen in the scene. And that's why he could literally betray Lucifero, not because he wants to help humans, but because of who he is. It is possible that Adrammelech wants Lucifero to lose this fight, which could be the reason why he has not intervened so far and why he has refused to help Lucifero even though he told him to. Maybe he will even help the humans defeat Lucifero, or maybe he just doesn't care at all. At this point, it can go either way, because Adrammelech's personality makes literally anything possible, from betrayal to support, to later interfering as if he was just kidding. And in the end, he will help Lucifero nonetheless. Such a personality makes his actions very unpredictable, so anything is possible. We need more chapters to understand his intentions. The fight continues and we see Nacht using a Devil's Union fusion again, this time Canis with Eukis. That's a fusion between Gimodero and Slotus united with Nacht. Nacht then summons two giant creatures and attacks Lucifero, while Asta once again tries to slash Lucifero from behind, as has happened before when he joined forces with all the other captains. And this attack would have certainly worked if Asta was in his Devil's Union mode Black Guardian. But since he's literally on the verge of death, he's obviously much weaker and slower, so Lucifero has no problem dodging this attack. And before Lucifero could finish Asta off, Nacht jumped right in front of Asta, ready to sacrifice himself and see his brother Morgan again. He's ready to apologize to him in the afterlife. Some of you know that we suspected Nacht of being involved in the creation of the ritual for some reason, not because he's working with the devils or the Dark Triad, but for his own personal agenda, either for revenge or because he wanted to resurrect his brother Morgan. All these things were based on the book Faust, which is a reference for Nacht's character. However, we know that he never wanted any of the gates to open, which is why he might have been surprised to see them actually open, because Morris intervened unexpectedly, possibly ruining Nax's plan, if he had really planned to create the Clifford for some yet unknown reason and use it for his own agenda. However, this panel clearly shows that he's willing to sacrifice himself and meet his brother Morgan. It looks more and more like Nacht has no agenda of his own in the Spade Kingdom. It could be because he had no plans of his own from the beginning, or it could be that things have changed and he no longer plans to do what he had originally planned. But I wouldn't be surprised if it turns out that he provoked the ritual, which is why he didn't warn anyone about the possibility of Yami and William being kidnapped, nor did he try to help them during the Dark Triad's Clover raid. After all, he could have simply teleported in less than a second, but he didn't, so let's keep that in mind. And then, just before Lucifero was about to finish Nacht off for good, Yami suddenly shows up and saves Nacht by asking him, "Vice Captain, what the hell are you doing?" Two best friends finally reunited. We see Yami fully healed and ready to fight, just as we predicted in our chapter reviews. Based on the fact that Mimosa is out of mana and was nowhere near Yami, we can assume that, as we have mentioned several times, the Black Bulls most likely created a combination of their magic to help Yami fight again. Sekre could seal the cracks and Grey could reconstruct his body, while Charmy could give him new mana, and even Gordon might be able to remove any curse that might have affected him due to the side effects of the Clifford tree. The Spade Kingdom food could also have healed him, and in general, any base healer would have done the job after the Black Bull saved Yami from dying. The only thing needed at this point was a weapon to use his dark magic with, because without it he's just too slow due to the slow nature of dark magic, which is considered the slowest magic in Black Clover, the counterpart to light magic, which is considered the fastest magic ability. That's why he cloaks his dark magic around his katana, allowing him to move fast. And we can clearly see that Yami has a new katana made of wood, which is a clear indication that William made the katana for Yami. It's possible that Yami won't take Asta's sword back, either because he wants him to keep it or because he can't use it after Asta damaged it with anti-magic. But if he gets it back, Asta could then use his own katana later in the series. It would be nice to see Yami's wooden katana break and Asta throw Yami his katana back so Yami can keep fighting, just like it happened the other way around when Yami and Asta fought Dante. Tabata loves to make such little references to past chapters, so it's quite possible. If Yami was healed, we can expect William to return soon, if those who healed Yami still have enough mana left to heal William as well. William himself also has healing abilities, so that's a safe bet. We'd like to see Yami and William actually form a tag team where they both team up against Lucifero as a sort of act of revenge for all the things that have happened to them. New power-ups due to the emotional overload are definitely possible for both Yami and William. There's nothing more we can predict for the next chapter that we haven't already mentioned in our previous reviews, so make sure you check them all out, as well as all of our theories. The latest theory is linked in the comments below, so make sure you check it out and let us know in the comments below what you think of this new Black Clover chapter 322. So that's it for today, folks. Hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, don't forget to smash the like button, and if you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe with the notification bell turned on. See you guys in the next video. Yami out.